Hello, geeks and geekettes. Welcome back to Geekin This, where we geek up a shitstorm of stuff. Well, I shouldn't say shitstorm. We geek up some stuff that maybe
A crap load of stuff.
yeah, a crap load of stuff that maybe our friends don't know about, and we share them. So with me, I am Peter, and with me are my good friends and pals, Tony and Edgar.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, how's it going?
Hello. So we're geeks, best time friends and longtime geeks. You know how that goes. So we get together on Geeking This and talk about geek stuff for the week, and that sort of helps us because, as me and Tony were mentioning before, like we don't really get a chance to talk geek in sometimes in culture or out in the workforce. We don't get to talk geek with that many people. So
Let's just
me
say,
and Tony.
well, I was just gonna say, let's just say being an adult doesn't necessarily allow you to geek out with your fellow colleagues at work. So this is a
That
good opportunity to talk about it.
that definitely
Yeah.
hits the nail. You can figure it out when you have become an adult. It's when you can just keep buying more games and you have no time to play it.
Exactly. That's definitely a clear indicator for myself. Got too much of a backlog. But I think we're in an interesting phase in our society where geek is definitely becoming like chic, becoming popular with Marvel and Star Wars and everything out there today. But still, it's still kind of looked down upon. Still, like we still don't talk about it in society outright. You know?
Yeah, I think it's socially more acceptable, but I think that it's more of a watch the movie, eat your popcorn, and then you're done with it, wash your hands, and then you never really engage in the conversation about why it was so cool to you.
Yes. So that's exactly what this podcast is about. We go deeper into things. We go way deep into stuff, all up in the lore, such as like Dragon Ball when we did those podcasts. So we have some Virgin Ears topics with us today, and these topics are things in pop culture and geekdom that maybe Tony or me or Edgar have never even heard of. So for an example, I'm going to start off with mine first. So mine is about Disney, and it's really hard to find something in Disney that no one's ever heard about.
Yeah, that's a
Because especially-
challenge.
Yeah.
Yes. So especially with me and Tony, we are, and Edgar too, we are longtime Disney fanatics, I would say.
It's kind
Always,
of hard. Well, I was gonna say it's kind of hard not to be a Disney fanatic when they own like 95% of all content.
right. Yeah. So now it's definitely a different time in our society. So not only is geek on the rise, but also Disney is owning everything. So
Yeah.
I have something for you guys today.
Okay.
It is Disney. It's about Disney, but Disney isn't aware of its existence. It was made without their permission. And today I'm talking about, it started as a Kickstarter movie. It is on YouTube for everyone to watch now. And today I'm talking about The Further Adventures of Walt's Frozen Head.
The hell?
I
Yeah,
have
so
no
I'm
idea
gonna
what you're talking about.
meddle with you guys here. I'm going to post a picture of the poster, and if you guys can just talk about how what does that title mean to you?
Well, okay. Without even seeing the picture, I can already assume what it's about, which is, yeah, that's exactly what I thought it was. So, for our listeners, what I'm looking at here is it's a poster. It says "The Further Adventures of Walt's Frozen Head" in classic Disney font, and we have a lovely picture of what looks to be a cryogenically frozen head of Walt Disney.
I don't know about you guys, but when Peter said the title of the show, for whatever the reason, like Robot Chicken came to my head, like rushing.
Oh, that's a good one.
Oh, that is a good one.
That's
That would be
cool.
like one of those little sitcoms that we used to have, like The Adventures of Walt Frozen Head, and you would have like that weird music going in the background, like. That's what it
You
came
know
to my
what?
head.
You know the second thing, and maybe now I'm thinking about it too much, but it also reminds me of Futurama.
Yes,
Oh yeah.
a lot of that's what I was thinking when I saw the picture at first. So would you guys say that without seeing a movie and the basis of this poster alone, would you say it's a comedy?
Yes, I think so. I hope so. It better not be a horror.
It would be cool. It would be a horror, but yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a comedy.
So yeah, it more or less is. There are some tender moments. It's a good romp. I was thinking it would be more of an outlandish comedy, more
Yeah,
like Superbad or Pineapple Express, kind
yeah.
of like that. But no, it's actually a lot more tame. So maybe if they made a comedy like that, then the Disney pictures would definitely take it down.
Basic
So let me walk
question.
you guys to go for it.
Well, just real quick, before we go any further, is it live action or animated?
It is live action, yes, live action, and
Wow.
they do their
Wow.
own special effects, and it looks really great actually, and a lot of practical effects too.
Okay. All right, go on.
So let me take you through the story of the further adventures of Walt's frozen head. So this movie pretty much is on the basis of the long rumor that Walt Disney somehow is frozen somewhere, and he still has power within the Disney business. And
Rumors?
this version, though, yeah, definitely rumors. Nothing factual about that. And this one, it's actually the only frozen part is his head, where he has all his knowledge and charisma, if you were, and he's literally the head of the company. And so it takes place in Walt Disney World, which I've never been, but it's mostly just like Disneyland. In like sort of an underground facility where he's kept, and each year he is unfrozen. They talk about the business, talk about the future of the business, and then they freeze him up again.
Wow.
So where the story kicks off is actually about an employee who works at Walt Disney World, stumbles onto his frozen head, and Walt, at this time, he's kind of sick of just being a head. He's sick of just being underground, not seeing anything. So he tempts this worker of his to take him out and actually see Walt Disney World with his own eyes and also enjoy the rides.
That's amazing. That is ridiculous.
It's a ridiculous story. The way I found this movie is when you're on YouTube, sometimes, and when you're on your feed, sometimes you get bombarded with commercials and like posts of other things. This was a post. Yeah, this was a suggested post on my YouTube feed, and I was like, "What? This cannot be real. This has to be a joke or something." And then I clicked on it, and I watched the whole movie, and I've just been waiting for someone to share it with,
Wow.
so we can
They
talk
got you.
about it.
That's incredible. Okay, so you kind of already prefaced the conversation by saying it's kind of lighthearted. So would you say it's rated, if it were rated, like G, PG, PG-13?
Oh, that's a great question. This is definitely a PG film, nice, family friendly. Has a few laughs there. They could have definitely went more outlandish with it, but
Yeah.
they stuck to a more traditional sort of comedy.
So you said that Disney didn't, well, they did not know about this initially. I'm assuming they do now. And so have they like taken any legal action to kind of
Like,
take it
is there any
down?
repercussions? Like, no. And this movie has also been, before it was on, this has been shopped around at all sort of indie film festivals and won awards and stuff. And yeah,
What?
it's just, they're aware of it now, but I think because they didn't go to the sort of outlandish sort of comedy, they didn't like openly attack Disney. It's really sort of a honorable parody, and I think that's why Disney, if they do know about it, is probably okay with it.
Yeah, that is crazy. I'm looking at the website as we speak, and the quality of the whole. I was thinking like a budget film from a
Me too.
Patreon or something like that.
Yeah.
And I'm not looking at the trailer, but just looking at the pictures alone, I'm like, God, that's really good. They invested a lot of time.
No,
in
this
that.
is a full movie, like totally
Yeah,
well made, very well constructed. Peter, I think you got a winner here.
And recorded in Walt Disney World as well. Taped
Seriously?
unbeknownst to Disney as well.
That's incredible. No way. How did they even get like people to sign the waivers? I mean, I'm assuming there's people in the background.
I'm sure they had to do something with the legality eventually, but yeah, it's slowly like because I always, as sort of a filmmaker aspiring myself, especially when in high school, I always wondered like I need to just take a camera to Disneyland and shoot my movie with the backdrop of it being Disneyland. It's kind of like they did that, really.
Dude, this is really good find. Peter, 2 thumbs up. Good job, man. I want to see this.
I'm
And the
following their
actors
Twitter
are
right now.
really good, especially the actor who does Walt Disney. He's really good. Some people have been saying on the internet that this actor who plays Walt Disney's head was better than Tom Hanks's portrayal of Walt Disney in Saving Mr. Banks.
Wow, that's saying a lot.
Wow.
All right, cool, man. So,
Give it a watch, please, guys, whenever you get the chance. And I would like to talk about it on the next podcast because
okay, I
I'm
think
the only one I know of who has watched it, and I just like need someone to talk about it with.
Did you watch it with any of your family members out of curiosity?
No, you know what? I just watched it on my phone a little late at night. I probably should have been sleeping, and really a mind fuck.
That's awesome, dude. Good one. Heck yeah. Wow, you really did. I don't know. I can't thank you enough for this one. This is great.
This is a crazy, crazy hidden gem.
How long is it?
I think it's only about an hour. It's relatively short.
Very digestible.
Yes, yeah. Since we were, so I was thinking about this one all along since we've been doing Dragon Ball and Netflix's You, stuff that's been sort of longer for us to ingest. This one's definitely a short little one shot that we could do. And so, yeah,
That's awesome.
on this podcast, we're going to be talking about all the sort of variety of lengths that we can ingest in pop culture.
Awesome. All right. Well, that's a good one. Edgar, do you have any questions or comments about this other
Yes,
than what we've already
any
discussed?
questions or comments?
Well, I don't have any questions because right now, as we speak, I'm like going full on geek mode on my computer, trying to like learn more about the movie, when it was developed, how long it is, you know.
That's actually a good question.
But the only thing that I kind of keep on seeing from people, it's that he had any backlash. Like, did they do anything like against some sort of justice? You know,
Right.
just some. I don't, because I'm looking at some people like not really liking the movie for whatever the reason. I haven't seen the movie, but I guess you get haters no matter where you go. But there hasn't been any backlash against the movie or something like that.
No, I don't think so. Other than like maybe the people just not getting it, like you were searching up. And there again, like I was trying to see if there was any sort of legal repercussions for them. It doesn't seem like it. It just seems like everything's gravy. And this
Damn,
is on YouTube. Shoot, I had the date, which it was right before we were going to podcast another time. I believe it was in April.
Oh, that's
It came
recent.
out just like
That is
April
really recent.
or even last month in March. It came out, premiered on YouTube, but before that, it's been circulating at indie film festivals.
Yeah,
I'm curious.
I see that too.
What I would like to know now is the best way to get around any legal action from like Disney, for example. I think would be to just not monetize it. So I wonder if they just like don't have any ads or demonetize the
No,
video
you know what?
intentionally.
Great point. It's definitely the video's not monetized. There's no commercials during the video.
So that's why they're able to get away with it. Probably.
Monetized.
Okay.
I think it's just a film from their hearts, really, from their crazy hearts and brains.
Awesome. All right, good find, man.
That's a pretty good one.
Let's segue into Tony's. He has a virgin ears for us.
Yeah, so before Edgar hopped on, we were talking off air, Peter and I, about what my Virgin Years was, and I know Peter has heard of it, so I'm curious to see what he has heard about it, because I know he hasn't actually seen this show. It's a show that's the first live-action show by Seth MacFarlane, and the name of the show is Orville. Have you guys heard of this? I know Peter has. Edgar, have you have?
Yes, I have seen the trailer.
Oh, you
I
saw the
believe
trailer.
so. Yeah, I saw the trailer and have seen some stuff going around in Reddit. that apparently
Okay.
the show was pretty good.
Okay,
So,
great,
Yeah.
great.
I'll piggyback off of that. Apparently, it's very memeable because I have seen images and stuff, and I've definitely saw some of the commercials, mostly on because I don't think anyone watches cable anymore. So mostly I've been seeing commercials for it on like Hulu, and yeah, it looks funny. I'll tell you what, before we get into more about it, the only reason I think I might have a hesitation for it, I forget what it was called. I think it was called Dying in the West. You remember that live action movie by Seth Rogen?
oh
I
yeah, I do.
No, I don't.
It good. It was
Dying in
sort
the
of
West is the name of it.
Dying in the West, something like that. And it
When
was
he used to
sort
make
of
fun of how stupid like Wild West life used to be, like how many diseases and how surprisingly we didn't extinguish ourselves or some shit like that.
yeah, and this was a full blown movie. This was after I want to say after Ted,
Oh,
but
a
before
million ways
Ted
to die in
won.
the West.
Yes.
I see what you're saying. Oh, okay, I know where you're going with this. It's
And that one
such
was
a
kind of lackluster. There were some funny jokes in it, but that really missed the mark for me. So I think that's why I'm hesitant about watching Orville. But I've
okay.
heard good things, and I'm sure Mr. Tony is going to tell us more good things about Orville.
All right, so yeah, let me pick it up. You're totally right. Seth MacFarlane is known as the funny man, kind of the teenage humor type guy, best known by Family Guy, Ted, A Million Ways to Die in the West, who just announced that one. But I think this show is completely different from everything else he's ever done. And the reason why I say that is because if you didn't know this was a Seth MacFarlane show and he wasn't in it, you probably wouldn't think he has anything to do with it. Just because of course, it's humorous, and that's the way it's pitched, and that's the way that I heard about it. Oh, it's a funny show. It's a ripoff of Star Trek. But there is so much more meaning and depth to this show than I would have imagined. So let me start off by saying it stars Seth MacFarlane, of course. Adriana Palicki, she plays Barbara on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Penny Johnson. Penny Johnson is an important actress in this show. And the reason for that is because, well, I'll tell you in a couple more seconds. Let's get back to it. Scott Grimes, he's amazing. He does the voice of Steve Smith on American Dad. Very funny
Oh,
guy.
yes.
Artificial life form Isaac is played by Mark Jackson, and Jessica Soar, who is in Ted 2 in the internship. Okay,
Nice.
so let me go back to what I initially said. Penny Johnson is important in this show, and the reason for that is because most people who have either glanced at the commercials or seen it on Reddit immediately think it's just a Star Trek ripoff, nothing else. I think the better description is it's a homage to Star Trek, and this is why. The majority of season 1 is directed by multiple Star Trek series alumni. James Conway, Jon Favreau directed the pilot, as a matter of fact.
Wow.
At least 30 actors who appear in the Orville, which is the majority of the cast, have actually already acted previously in Star Trek franchises.
Wow, that's
So
crazy.
it's not a ripoff at all. It is very much a homage. Um, so yeah, Dr. Claire Finn, who is Penny, she has an extensive experience in playing in Star Trek shows. She's been on multiple Star Trek shows, so she really knows her stuff. So for Seth to pick her up is not ripping the show off. It's literally saying, "Hey, I want to do something similar but different." And I know it's cheesy, but it makes sense when you watch the show. Okay, so more about the show. The music, my God, the music is amazing. I don't know about you guys, but one thing I miss a lot on TV shows nowadays is live action,
Good soundtracks. Yeah.
good soundtracks. Like
Hmm.
the main reason why I like Star Wars, honestly, guys, is not just like the story and the cool sci-fi. It's the music. That's what we think of, and that's what
Yes,
our heart
of
associates
course.
with Star Trek.
Yep.
The orchestra, the big band feeling. Seth is it's no secret Seth loves big bands. And so, I
True.
mean, yeah, that's not a secret. I mean, if you watch any Family Guy show, you'll see like a lot of
Always
the bands.
singing that, man.
So it's composed by Bruce Bruton, who actually Academy Award nominee for Best Score. So it's real professionals work on this show, and
Wow.
everything about the show is just professionally done. It's not half-assed at all. He gives it 110%. He tries his best, and God, does he succeed. So let me talk about why I like this show, as opposed to who stars in it and the music. This show has a perfect balance of everything I like in TV, guys. It's great pacing. It has office-like humor. It has obscure technology. It's crazy plot episodes. And more importantly than anything else, you can have a show that has humor. You can have a show that has crazy episodes. In the words of Seth MacFarlane, who said this in an interview, the end of every scene of every episode does not have to end in a joke. It can actually leave you with a thought.
Yes.
And so it's very thought provoking. It speaks to social commentary about today's world in ways that are so funny and so obscure, but it actually means a lot. So I just wanted to give you guys an opportunity to check this out. The first 2 episodes, some people think are slow. I didn't think they're slow. Like I said, it was directed by Jon Favreau, the pilot.
Wow.
But if you do think it's slow, please, I beg you, at least make it an episode 3, because every episode gets exponentially better. I mean, it's crazy good, guys. Like, I'm not making this up. There's an episode in here about, oh my gosh, it's probably my favorite one. No spoilers, but it's about they go into this sort of other dimension, and everything in this dimension is all in 2D. The way that I don't know how they managed.
Reminds me of Futurama a little.
It does, but it's oh man, it's well done, and that means a lot. Like, you care about these stupid 2D characters.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, it is hilarious, but meaningful. So again, I've said enough. I kind of want to get your guys' impressions, your concern.
I'm glad that you said it was more of a homage to Star Trek, because that's what I've been reading and hearing about this, actually. So for our listeners, say, for example, you guys know the movie Spaceballs, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So Spaceballs was definitely a straight-out parody of Star Wars. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. It's straight up ripping off Star Wars. However, where Orville differs is it's, like Tony says, is a homage. It's not totally ripping off Star Wars. It's not replacing, instead of like Lord Vader, it's Darth Helmet. It's not making characters like that. It's making its own characters, its own stories, its own little sci-fi world. And what's great for me that I didn't know about until you mentioned it was it's actually written and directed by these great people who've done Star Trek episodes before, and of course we know Jon Favreau, Iron Man fame, and I would definitely watch those 2 episodes just because Jon Favreau is attached.
Yeah, and James Conway. So, I mean, just this. I don't know. I can't really say enough about this show. And also in season 2, you get into these like crazy epic space battles. So it's like, oh my god, it's so it's like, holy crap, like,
love me some space battles.
Yeah, I don't know, man. This whole show is gonna make you feel like it'll keep you guessing, and it'll keep you entertained every last second. It's not toilet humor either. It's just like office type humor, which makes it hilarious because it's kind of like. So the way I would describe it would be like, you got a group of people on a spaceship, and in most shows we watch, like Star Trek and Star Wars, everybody's act so serious and uppity. But this is like just like if you guys, like Edgar, Peter, and I, were on a spaceship. We're not gonna change our characteristics. We're not gonna be walking around stiff. We're gonna be like, oh shit, we're on a spaceship.
Oh shit.
So yeah, that's my piece.
Nice. That was a great pull, because definitely older Star Trek, everyone was like logical. Everyone was a Spock character, and it's kind of boring. But I don't know if you guys watch the new Star Trek movies. Everyone is definitely a little bit more likable in those movies. So would you say it's kind of more like that, where it's the characters who are lighthearted and witty, but the situations are still kind of the same. It's still sort of serious.
I think it's a really good way of putting it. Yeah, there's some high stakes every episode, but the characters are human and relatable, and not everybody's a genius, and not everybody's perfect for damn sure. So they make mistakes, and I guess it's what makes every good show good, which is you have relatable characters.
Yeah,
Awesome.
definitely.
Yeah. What do you think, Mr. Edgar, sir? Would you give this a try with Tony's recommendation?
I'm not a stranger to Seth MacFarlane's work, because as I'm pretty sure you guys know, he was involved with Cosmos. So
Oh, yes, he was.
Yeah, you're right.
So what he showed was already great from to begin with, but when he got involved with Neil deGrasse Tyson, I just go back and forth between episodes whenever I'm feeling bored or like I'm bored at work. I'll rewatch some episodes because not only you're learning stuff, you're like, holy shit, this is fucking cool. So I seen the show. I seen it like Peter said, memes here, some memes there, and I have seen some stuff on Twitter. And up to this point, I haven't been able to get the time to go around and watch it. But it seems like a really good show from him. So if Tony gives like a thumbs up of approval, I might go for at least 3 episodes, like he said, and see how I like it, and I will go up from there. But yeah, looks pretty cool.
Awesome. And just to add on to that, yeah, so I was the same with Edgar, but I also heard about it on podcasts. I watch a lot of Kevin Smith's own podcasts, and he has a friend called Ralph Garman, who is a friend with Seth MacFarlane, and he does, Ralph does all the voices on like Family Guy, and he plays a character in the Orville called Nahoot. So I've actually seen a picture of Nahoot just from Ralph Garman. So I've heard about this, and just based on like podcast recommendations and Tony's recommendation, I'll definitely give it a try. Another thing to add, when Tony said it was like me and Edgar and him going into a spaceship, I would like us to do that one day.
If we get the chance, that would be amazing.
Well, here's how. When I do get a VR or a console capable of VR, I would like us to play a Star Trek Bridge Commander, because then it's exactly that. We're VR, we have our positions. Someone's at the helm, someone's the captain, someone's managing the weapons, and then we just go off on Star Trek adventures.
Dude, I didn't know that was like a multiplayer game. That's awesome.
Yeah, in VR, cool. And I think just the hilarity that will ensue from those situations would be freaking gold. So yeah, I will definitely watch Orville now, and just keep thinking about that in the back of my head as I watch.
Awesome. Well, cool. Glad I could share that with you guys.
I can't think of any questions. Do you have any questions for Tony, Edgar, about the Orville?
So you said the pacing of the episodes. So every single episode is between what, like 45 minutes to maybe 50?
Yeah. Yeah, it's about 45 minutes. It's I think an hour show on TV, but obviously on Hulu cut out the commercial, so it's 45 minutes. So it's very well paced.
Oh, okay. It's like it does have some downtown here and there, like every single show, I'm guessing. So
yeah, a tiny bit. Honestly, like I would say the majority of the filler, if you will, would be in the development of the characters in the first 3 episodes. That's why I said you have to make it until there. And then once you do that, then like they just go balls to the wall. It's crazy.
I would say that for any show, the first sort of 2 or 3 episodes are going to be definitely heavy with information, because you got to build up the world.
Yeah. Yep.
People are comfortable with the world, then you can start going crazy.
Like most of my coworkers have been pushing me to start watching Game of Thrones, because as you know, this new season comes out this Sunday. Yeah. So for months, I keep on hearing my coworkers start watching it, and I did give it a try, but for me it's a hard time because there's too much lore behind it.
Oh
and I go over the first episode, and I've seen it like 3 or 4 times already. So I go to the second one, still I don't see that thing that everybody's telling me to watch it. The reason I don't see it, because for me it's like too much build up to because I know, like, well, I kind of know what is going to happen later on, so I'm like, get to that point late, like, faster. I will say. So it's just a problem with myself. I will say that, but I don't think
it's 2 seasons long.
2 seasons, yeah. And the second season's not even over, so it's
It's
still
not
running.
exactly. It's still running. And God, I really, really hope that Fox is smart enough to make a season 3 because they got a winner. So for all you Orville fans out there, send your pickle jars to Fox. You'll know what that means.
Pickle jar.
The
That's
pickle
so
jar.
funny that you mentioned Game of Thrones, Edgar, because I've talked about it, Game of Thrones before with Tony, and my suggestion is I do have book 1 of Game of Thrones, which I'm going to let Tony borrow, but I can also let you borrow it, Edgar. I would say just read the first book, and then if you're into it, good. If not, that's fine.
Okay. Well, now that you put it that way, I might actually be able to read it more than just watch the show. Because
Yeah,
in here
exactly.
at the house, we have we had all the seasons, so we have it on Blu-ray. So if I really wanted to, I can just go to the living room and go ahead and pick it up and start watching it, or just digitally or some shit like that.
I think that that's why I suggest the first book, because I think that's more easy to read or digest rather than trying to watch like the whole first season.
Yeah.
First season. Yeah. Well, yeah, sure. Whenever he's done with the book, just let me know. If I can see it like on sale or something, I will pick it up and give it a try.
I gotta give that to you, Tony, and I also have a mouse for you that I gotta give back to you as well. But yeah,
Oh, thanks.
that's on my to-do list. Okay,
Awesome.
Mr. Edgar, do you have a virgin ears for our ears?
I think I do. I didn't have a lot of time to prepare it, but I'm pretty sure it should be some sort of new. Have you guys heard about Persona? Just Persona.
The name sounds familiar, but I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't know anything about
Right.
it.
You,
Okay.
Peter.
And on the flip side of that coin, yes, I have heard of it. I can maybe even picture out some characters from the series, but I have never played a single game of Persona.
Alrighty. Well, you guys are in for a treat. I'm going to keep. It's been a game since 1996, so it's been running for quite a while now.
Wow.
So it is a game that it was developed back in 1996. So it's a JRPG, so it's a role-playing game, but it's a Japanese role-playing game. So sort of like Final Fantasy, so sort of like Pokemon, if you want to call it like that too. You can put it on the same spot as them. So it's the name over here overseas is called Persona, and Japan is called Shin Megami Tensei. So this game kind of blew up, but after it kind of be it was way like an underground game for people that were really into the series when the PS1 came out, PS2 came out. So until we got it here for the PSP Vita, actually when Persona 4 came out, that game blew up. Like it blew up in everybody's faces. Everybody was really into it because it's a role-playing game. So you spend a lot of time. That means that you grind through bosses, to raids, to you just put a lot of time and you invest a lot of time in the characters and learning new skills, new trades. So, like, if you ever play Diablo or maybe Final Fantasy by itself, you understand kind of like what I'm talking about. So, Persona 5, it's at this point, if I believe, it's the best game sold out of all the series. Because when that one came out in Japan like 2 months earlier, and it blew up in Japan, and then it was here, and then it blew up here. So everybody was playing it, and myself, I got into it when I played Persona 4 back in the PSP Vita. So I got really into it. I invested too many hours, like an entire summer, just like literally just looking at one screen just for months and months. And it is like a role-playing game that I really like. I don't know, like, again, not a lot of people have enough time to put and invest into a game just like that. And Persona 5, when it first came out, I really wanted to get it. I didn't have the time. I wasn't able to get it. So I finally picked it up, and like maybe 6 months after. So you get this perfect game. It's just so well. It's just, for me at least, it's perfect. Maybe because I'm a fanboy, I will say. But it's just so perfect because you get everything for previous games just redefined and polished.
Really?
So you
I didn't know that at all. That it was sort of a collection as well.
Well, yeah, because that becomes a DLC. That's something else. But this is a game. Persona 5 is it's a game by itself. So it has its own story, its own main character, supporting characters. But it brings stuff from the previous ones So you will see people, you will see like people from the previous Persona games. You were like, oh, here's in here too. Oh, that's the reason he was there too. So you kind of connect them somehow, but it's
Awesome.
not really important. So look, if it is important if you follow the lore. If not, you can just look the other direction. It doesn't really matter. It's still pretty cool.
That's almost exactly what I was going to ask you. So I had two questions. One, so you were saying it's not, they're connected but not connected. So you don't have to play Persona 1 to get the story of Persona 5, right?
No, not at all. No, not at all.
Cool. And then my second question was, someone can just go straight to Persona 5 and be fine and not know the previous ones?
Yeah, you can definitely do that. They don't really piggyback from from each other, so you can just start any Persona game. And the only ones that I believe you can't do is like 2 and 2.5, because 2.5 piggyback from 2. But I believe other than that, you're free to go. You can choose any one that you want. They all kind of play all the same. Maybe some mechanics are not there, like pretty much the same game, I guess.
You know what
But
this sounds like, Tony? To me, this sounds like Kingdom Hearts a lot, just
It
because
does.
there's been
Yeah.
different installments of that, and that's kind of been kind of sort of confusing story-wise.
I was just defending Persona because I'm a Kingdom Hearts fan to the heart, because I've been waiting for the latest one that just came out for like 10 years.
Yes, same.
Kingdom Hearts doesn't know what it wants to do with its own story. Like, they have like a lot of good things they can do. They just choose not to do it. I don't know why. But this game has this, like, you can get up from, it's kind of like reading a book. You will start to getting, like Tony said, building up the characters, what the reason they're there, and all that. You develop the drama and all that, and you have a conclusion towards the end, and you realize what you did. Because this game again is role playing, so you can choose what to do with your time. Like, picture yourself in maybe 2016 Japan, a high school student that can only do either go to school in the morning, choose to do some stuff like in the afternoon, and maybe either study or go to sleep. So you get every single day is divided by threes. So you got to go to school in the morning. You can choose what to do in the afternoon, and you can choose what to do at night. So depending on what you do within those like time frames, you can improve your skills and I don't know, like range, or if you read or study, you get smarter. Then you can interact with other people. So whatever you choose to spend your time in, it really matters at the end, or whatever you want to do with your character. So I want to say if you're smart enough, the game is going to be easy, and well, not easy, but it's going to be a little bit more easier. But if you just want to do out there, just like go ahead and play games like you just pretty much do every single time you get off work, it's not going to be as easy as any other person who's going to be playing it. And one other reason that I really love this game is the art style. The art style from this guy is just amazing.
Yeah,
it blew my mind.
The
music itself. I'm gonna put up a picture so you can see
perfect.
what I'm talking about.
It's cell shaded, right?
Yeah, cell shaded.
That's cool. That's cool.
So the whole game is like that. It has color. It has in depth. It has like heart to itself. The music. If I can, I'm gonna link you guys to a song that is the music is kind of repetitive at one point, but the music itself is funky. It has a bass line. You know, you're fighting, you got the bass line in, you're in groove. You're like, oh man, I gotta do this. So it is a pretty complex game. It takes a lot of time. Again, the only reason I was able to beat it is because I was just not doing shit on the weekends. As soon as I got off, I would just start playing it, and I was able to beat it.
Nice.
It didn't take me too long. But again, I know maybe you and Tony don't have the time to play it as soon as you get home. But the thing is, there's a rumor going around that I believe is true, because we got another installment of this game. A lot of people say it's going to be a DLC. It's called Persona 5 R Royale. So a lot of people think it's going to be like a DLC towards this game. And we got another one called Persona 5S. That everybody's been talking about, a switchboard. We're talking about finally being able to play a Persona game on the handheld for ever since the Vita. And a lot of people believe that because Joker, the main character in this game, is going to be a feature challenger in Super Smash Brothers. So people are talking about like, oh, maybe they made a deal. Finally, they're going to be able to port it to Switch. It's not confirmed at the time I'm speaking, but everything's pointing towards that direction. So if this game comes out on the Switch, I will not say pick it up for $60. Maybe just wait until it goes down in a little bit of price because it would be kind of stupid because the game is already 2 years old. Like when I bought it, I paid 60, and the next one it went down to 20, so I felt.
Oh no.
So I was like, okay, whatever. I still love the game, so no matter what, so I was like, okay, for me it was worth $60. But somebody who just wants to see how it is and maybe just invest a couple of hours and see if it's going to be worth it, I will say just wait until it goes down to maybe $40, getting it, within sale or something like that. But yeah, this is a really good game. Not a lot of people. Well, it got famous out of the blue, but still, not a lot of people know about it.
Is it
What's
open
funny
world?
Sort of, yeah. So it is an open world, but it's not as interactive as let's say GTA 5.
Okay.
It is openish. So you can go to different sites and cities from that city in Japan. So you got your amusement parks, the beach, the city, like the central area for games, food, and technology and shit. So you can go there by your phone or some stuff like that. So it is open, but not as open as any other RPG.
Awesome. You know what's funny is when they did announce Joker for Super Smash Brothers, I was like, I don't know who that is.
Me too. I thought they were talking about the DC Joker for a second when I saw the
Oh man, that would have been crazy.
I
One
just lost
question
my shit.
to you, Mr. Edgar, if possible, is there a way to summarize the story of Persona 5?
Oh, okay. I will give my best. So it is pretty much every single Persona game. It's involves a good guy, the character that you play as. So this time it's we're gonna be playing as Joker, and you wake up within they call it a place between the dreams and the reality. So again, it has a lot of lore behind it. So everybody else's powers are kind of like your own, kind of like within your heart. So every single power is defined by an arcana, pretty much a card from a deck. Kind of like every single of your companions is like a deck from a card. So every single one specializes in something else. Like the cat is like super fast, and you have a girl who scouts the enemy and tells you the level. So every single one has their own skill trees. So you meet people like that, and again, you go to places called castles. They're born within people's desires and negative passions about whatever they want. So, for example, there's one castle of a guy from school, high school teacher, who wanted pretty much just to have his own. He had like some weird desires with their own students. So
Sexual.
it wasn't really healthy.
Oh, was it? I was just guessing.
It wasn't really healthy. So he wanted it so bad that it distorted his own heart and created a castle. So when that was happening, he was like in the real world, he was creating at one point in the game, I don't want to spoil it, but like a girl tried to commit suicide. So he was affecting other people within the negative activity with what's going on in his own heart. So you realize that because you jump in by accident, and then you figure it out and you got to stop it. And every single time that you go into one of these castles, every single one is called a castle, you have a deadline. So in this one, the deadline was like 16 days ever since you got caught, because the teacher saw you inside of the castle, and he's like, I'm going to let you take me out. So in the next meeting with professors, I'm going to talk to you, and you're going to get expelled. So you have a deadline. So you got to follow that deadline. So you can do whatever the fuck you want within those 17 days. But if you don't finish or commit the main mission, that's it. That's game over, and you can get a game over.
What's a game over? Like you just have to restart from the beginning, or is there check-off points?
You can either start from the beginning or your last save. So you gotta be saving constantly. Like again in Pokemon, before you went to a legendary, you save right before the cave.
Yeah,
kind of like that.
Yeah. Okay,
just kind of like that. So it is every single time you get a game over, depending where you get it, is a little bit different. So in this, it is pretty interesting. Just out of curiosity, I got some game overs to see how they were, and they're pretty cool. Like it makes sense.
To see how differently it ends.
Well, you know what, Edgar, and since the time you were I did look up this game, Persona 5, and it looks like it's got great reviews. I mean, we're talking 9 out of 10s here, 93%. So you're onto something.
Yeah, yeah. When it first got released, when I first got the trailer, I was so excited for it. But again, I wasn't able to play it until later on. So I was like, let's see if I can get it on sale. It didn't went on sale apparently in like a month after I bought the game. So that's bullshit.
Yeah.
So I will definitely go ahead and pick it up if you can.
I like the fact that I didn't know this before Edgar told us that it's sort of like Inception, where there's like a dream realm and the real world. I like that sort of dual gameplay with that too. One
Yeah.
question I have is, you said when you're fighting this one boss, this teacher, you get 16 days. Do those days pass even if you don't have the game on?
Even if you don't have the game, like open or playing?
Turned on. Yeah.
If it's
Oh,
turned
sorry,
off.
you got cut off. No. You gotta be playing. You gotta be playing because, like I said,
Okay, I was about to say, because that would be some next level stuff.
I don't know. Maybe if you turn on hardcore mode or some shit like that, I do not know. But again, every single day divides itself within 3 parts, so you can choose what to do. You can either the first half of the day you can go inside of the castle, because every single castle has levels, so you gotta progress through those levels to get to the final boss, like some puzzles and stuff. So you gotta be mindful of how long is it gonna take you to get all the way to the top. Plus, you got HP, you got stamina, and you got magic points. So those
So
do not regenerate when you're inside the castle. The only one you can get that is by specific items or sleep. So you got to be like, okay, can I go? Maybe you cannot get to the top within one run because you pretty much gonna die.
Yeah. Huh. Well, you certainly picked a Virginia for me, that's for sure. I just barely heard of the title, but nothing about the game or what it was about. Good one, man. Good one.
One more thing. I think I know the difference, and probably Tony does too, but one more thing you can add on, Edgar, is can you explain maybe the difference between a JRPG and an RPG?
I'm not the best skill for it, but I do believe that JRPGs have a little more in-depth story into it. In just your normal RPG, this one has cutscenes and movie scenes and all that, and some other RPGs just have like a little bit of a script going down that you got to read. So I do believe that's one key feature. I'm not 100% sure. Well, maybe because it's based in Japan too.
Yeah, that's the key thing. But you're onto something there. I think JRPGs have more different and in-depth game mechanics, and definitely more in-depth stories. You're going to spend more hours on these games than rather normal RPGs. I feel like are more streamlined, and you could kind of just play the main quests and get done with it. Yeah, I think that's mostly the key differences between those two.
Okay, all right. I didn't even know there was a difference.
Good. Yes, that's what I wanted to clarify. So yeah, you get more with Persona 5, I would like to say. Any other questions? I think that was my last one. How about you, Mr. Tony? Any questions?
No, that was it. That was a really well explained. Thanks, man.
Alrighty, guys. So I had one more, but I think we'll save it.
Okay.
We'll save my other Virgin Ears for later because it's something that came out recently, and I thought Tony was aware of it. And I was like, "Hey, yeah, man, the new movie's out." And he was like, "What?"
Yeah.
It was interesting. When we do this podcast, we pick topics that we think the other one hasn't heard, but sometimes just in natural conversations or through text messages, we run across things we haven't heard from each other. So it's definitely interesting to visit these things.
I think you hit it on the head where like you would think one of us knew about it, but wait a minute, you didn't. So sometimes these Virgin Years can be really shocking.
Yes,
definitely. Yep.
So, for you guys, our listeners, take a look at the further adventures of Walt's Frozen Head on YouTube. Take a look at the Orville on Fox and also on Hulu and streaming services. Take a look at Persona 5 on most major gaming consoles. And take a look at our podcast, damn it, because we're geeking this.
Absolutely. All right, guys. Thanks for listening.
All right, from Geekin This is Tony, Peter, and Edgar saying bye.
See ya.
Bye-bye.